Baby Finn.
Well, there's not really a lot of stopping that right now. It's unfortunate that Jen and Finn are off today, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
We've got a guest
But he's not a
appearance
baby anymore. He's big too soon.
I did say that Jen and Finn are off as if like Finn's got a day job to go to at the age of 2.
Excuse me, there's going to be a lot of coughing. I'll try and stay away from the mic.
Are you sick as well?
Freddie's got a cough, and I feel like I've maybe caught it off of him.
I feel that I've been going through different levels of sick for about 5 months now, and I'm just a bit done with it.
Oh, mate, 100%. I feel the exact same. Like, any time you get over one thing, something else fucking crops up. But honestly, mate, like, sleep deprivation can really fuck your health, and that's something that obviously me and you are experiencing on a grand scale at the minute. And it just, like, your body's just breaking down. It's essentially our body's just telling us, like, you need fucking rest, mate, but we just don't have enough hours in the day to get that rest. And yeah, we're paying the price, but it's all worth it, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
The wee man is, because we've moved into the new gaff, the wee man has his own proper room, which is class. But last night he decided at 2 o'clock in the morning he didn't want to be in his own room. So he comes in and fucking he 2-foot tackles me in a way that Bobo Baldi would have been proud of, because he just literally leg pressed me. So I've had a bit of a rough one as well, being honest.
Excellent. We're all three are firing on all cylinders today. It's great. This is going to be an absolute car crash, or it's going to be the best podcast we've ever done.
Well, I actually have been getting decent sleep lately.
Right, kick her out the now.
Gary, I'm not going to lie, mate. When I used to say that I was getting rough sleeping, and you were like, "Oh, actually, I'm getting good sleep." That's how it feels, mate. That's how it feels. So karma has come round.
It's full circle now, man. It's me that's suffering.
In the trenches. We done a call with the biofitness crew on Monday night, and one of the things that kind of came up was triggering messages from like coaches or gyms. The specific quote was, "Childcare isn't an excuse not to go to the gym," and you can imagine by itself that was quite a divisive statement. The wider topic that we're going to chat about is, should you be able to coach a subject you've not been through yourself? And what I mean by that is a person who said that doesn't have kids himself, but as a coach trying to give advice on something that they've not actually been through. So that's what we're going to touch on. But firstly, I'm going to open up just that specific example. Shannon, I was going to ask you first anyway, albeit the fucking hand shot up there. Like, go on, Shannon. The Scout's honour, you can go.
Hello and welcome to the Biofitness Podcast.
I don't know. Like, at this point in the day, I'm kind of like, people know what they're tuning in for. Fucking like,
yeah, we're fucking this is episode 98. Like, if people aren't they clued up on what the fuck they've pressed play on by this point, then there's no hope for any of them.
We're in the top percentage of podcasts. Does Joe Rogan open his things going, "Hello and welcome to the Joe Rogan podcast"? He actually does with the wee chimp noise. He's got his own crew, so I'm taking that back. He does. Never mind.
I'm the sound effects of this podcast.
I'll tell you what, like, Joe Rogan's too good to do it himself, so what we need to do is somebody else to do it for us. If you want to volunteer to intro the Biofitness Podcast, put your name down in the comments and we'll get you on board.
Oh, that's class, and we could have like a guest intro every week.
There's a lot of effort and work involved in that. I was just thinking we nominate one person who is a sound cunt to do it for us. But yeah, if you want to go through the rigmarole of getting somebody else to do it every week, then class.
Send us a voice note, man, and I'll fucking throw it in.
Class, right? Let's do it. Let's go.
David Attenborough saying it every week would be beautiful, but I don't know if the budget would allow us.
Dev, if you're listening, mate, reach out.
If you know David Toby, work your connections to us.
I feel like Shannon's got to set up a burner account just so that she can put her name down to the intro.
And do it in different voices.
Aye, let's do it. Let's get people introing the Biofit and Fuzz podcast. If you are interested, you know where to find us. All it would need is a wee voice note through WhatsApp, and I can try and work my editing magic, and you can intro it going forward. Fucking, let's do it. Just quickly before we dive into the actual topic of what you mentioned, Kyle, you mentioned that you you've just moved house. That's why there was a week where we didn't put an episode out. Do you have a new microphone yet? Do you have it linked up?
Do I have a new microphone?
Yes.
It's the most sensitive thing in the world.
Mate, I honestly, like, it is the most sensitive microphone I think I've ever heard in my whole entire. I can hear your heartbeat.
After the 10K I did last night, it's probably still quite loud. Let me see. Microphone Yeti. It does just say Yeti. I don't know if there's settings on it I need to change, but
All good, mate. All good. Are you connected to the microphone or is it coming through the laptop?
no, it's selected microphone. It's coming through the microphone.
Fair enough. All good.
Cool. Thanks for your approval. Anyway, let's move
Where's your
on.
microphone from?
No, no, no. Let's get to the fucking topic.
I thought we were
Well,
going to do a show and tell there, but never mind.
Okay, sorry. Like, we'll turn this into the Shannon Friendship Podcast. Hello, this is my microphone. I got this in Courage. I got this in Drogheda. It's very close to my face right now. You might be able to hear me super, super well. If you want
oh,
clarity in your voice, then this is probably the microphone for you. However, it might annoy people because it's too clear. So we'll put it down. There you go. Shannon, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's
Super.
because you won't let me have friendship any other time now. The podcast is my only friendship zone.
Shannon, I asked you a fucking question now going on 7 minutes ago. You still haven't answered.
You didn't ask the question yet because I interrupted you to say hello and welcome to the Biofitness Podcast.
No, I
So
actually
can I
did. I
have
said
the
what I said.
question?
I said, "What's your thoughts on this?" And then you went. I was like, "Yeah, go on." So answer my fucking question.
What's my thoughts on this? Okay, sir. So someone giving unsolicited advice about parenting and how you manage your parenting and your childcare and your health when you have not walked the walk. Get in the bin. Get in the bin. You know who you are.
Okay, can I ask a deeper question then on that, or go further on that?
Okay.
Do you think then, if we take that to the extreme, that people without coaches without kids shouldn't be allowed to coach people with kids?
No, I think if you're going to coach people with kids, you have to be a little more understanding that their days look a little different to the likes of me, kidless people who can just like decide when they want to go to the gym. Not all the time, but like have a bit more flexibility than the likes of used to, where you are strapped into a certain time frame and that's it. And then even some of the guys in biofitness when they were talking about the last 2 weeks being Easter holidays, and the kids are off school, which means a few of them don't have childcare of any sort. They're kind of doing it by themselves, and they don't have the flexibility to just go to the gym when they want. And it's a little bit of a privilege I do have, I have to say. I will put that. I'm a white girl with privilege right now.
Gary,
yes.
sure your thoughts.
Fuck off. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't own a gym. You shouldn't be a PT. Get yourself to. No, you.
It's like, you alright, mate? Fucking, do you wake up the wrong
No.
side? I know that's like generation's really kicked in, mate.
No, genuinely, like if you're a coach and you're saying to people that childcare is not an excuse for not going to the gym, then you can get yourself so far to fuck. I would happily come and drop kick you in both knees, because you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about. Should coaches be able to coach clients that have children when coaches don't have children themselves? Absolutely, 100%. I've done it for years. But you have to have a level of empathy and understanding as to their situation. Now, I'll be the first to hold my hands up and say, I didn't know the full, I didn't understand the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Help me out, team. I didn't,
Impact.
impact, we can use impact. That fits well. The full impact of what having a child was like when it comes to training and exercising. Now I do. Maybe I've said some shit in the past that has been a bit ignorant. But I am, big enough and ugly enough to hold my hands up and say, yeah, I probably did make a bit of a mistake. But for you to just come out and just outright downplay having children and the impact that can have on your everyday life, then you're a fucking asshole, in my opinion.
We
Brutal.
ain't holding back today.
No, no, no. I sleep deprived. I've got a cough. There's no fucking holding back with me today.
If you had any caffeine, mate,
I am 1.5 coffees deep.
you can tell, yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle,
I
what's your thoughts?
Similar to Gary, have definitely probably said things and probably have recorded parts of me saying things in the past that I'm like probably wouldn't age overly well, and that's okay. You're allowed to change your mind on things. I would say it's having children. It's on that specific subject. It's definitely changed and opened my mind as to perhaps how deep the struggles can be. I do think there's a lot of a thing is you do need to change your identity and structures, and a lot of things you can't do anymore. It requires a lot more planning and doing things. I, in the past, perhaps, if we look at time and energy being the two biggest currencies that people have, I probably looked at some parents who were able to kind of like manage that a little bit better and use that through the lens of, say, the people who didn't manage that well. I'd be like, well, do you know what? If 10 of the parents I'm coaching can do it, then why can't you? And probably not fully understanding that there's different cycles of where kids go through development, how that affects you and everything else alongside it. Not to say that I would have taken back any of the coaching I did at the time, but at the same time, definitely looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, it's a different ballgame in terms of you going through it. You probably do have a better understanding of what it's like, but that's not to say that you can't coach. It's the same as like me or Gary trying to coach females. Like, we are never going to have a menstrual cycle. We're never going to have perimenopause, menopause. We've coached people to a high level and got great results with people who have had that. And like anything, there's patterns that come, the symptoms that come up, and you can speak to a person. But in terms of like, would I be able to coach someone better if I did have those things? Then probably could, but that's not to mean that the coaching that we can give is poor, because we can't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I would say that saying something along the lines of having children is no excuse to go to the gym. In my opinion, that's not coaching. That is just straight up judgment. That is based on absolutely no experience or lifestyle understanding at all. And it just shows how ignorant of a coach you truly, truly are.
Uh,
Imagine saying to someone who is in a wheelchair, that's no excuse for you. Like, I know I'm comparing it to a disability now, but like, that's no excuse for you not to get steps. Do you know that kind of way? It's like daft almost the way it was said.
I do get what you're saying, but I would probably say that we can't really use that, because when it comes to, if we looked at the script in terms of I say he, I'm now outing who the person is. Fucking better watch myself here.
Fucking name drop the cunt.
So the way I need to look at it is like the way we are looking at it is like a social media. It is like a bit like the manosphere. It's like what do you call that? They're looking for like
Clickbait.
clickbait, yeah,
Clout.
clout's the word, yeah. I would imagine that the reason they've said that is because their gym is someone that particularly markets towards like parents. They have deals. They go in for like the kind of summer holiday deals, the like whatever, they've got discounts I think for being parents and all that, so they are attracting a lot of those people. But I think to a large extent it's like you have issues going on in the background, and we all coach people who, like, even without kids or having difficulties with hormones, make excuses all the time. And where I would potentially, don't want to say disagree, but we give an alternative view. I think if you give people an excuse, a lot of them will take it. And I've had that frustration with some parents in the past, where it's like the moment they become a parent, like, I can't do this, I can't do that, and then the identity becomes, do you know what, I'm not able to do anything for myself. And at that point I'm like, well, actually, do you know what, that, if I'm giving devil's advocate on it, I'm like, well, do you know what, sometimes it is probably okay to hold a mirror up and go, do you know what, some of those excuses probably aren't the excuses you think you are. But again, it needs to come with context rather than just like firing out social media things going, if you're a parent, not having childcare is an excuse. I've not seen the post, if I'm being honest. I'm literally just talking about what was brought up on Monday Night's Call.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think it could have been said in a better way, so it was actually received a wee bit better. Just straight up saying that's not an excuse, is yeah, is fucking silly. It's lazy, it's reductive. What you could, what could have been said is, your training. It's not going to be impossible, but it is going to massively change your expectations, or it's going to change the rules of the game. Using your children as an excuse is probably not ideal. As you said, you don't want that to be your new identity. It is going to be harder, but it's not going to be impossible with the right expectations. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, struggle a little bit with the world at times. With like, I think we've touched on quite a few topics lately about like, don't want to say fitness becoming soft, but like health and fitness becoming super soft. And I think people
Super woke.
yeah, well, like people are getting, in my opinion, a bit softer with things because there's more groups to cater to things and echo chambers to cater to things where you can go online and find tons of people who think exactly like you, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're right. So if you're a parent, you can be part of groups where it's like you. I look at some people and like the content they consume, and like I've caught gender and stuff like this where you're on groups of people that are just fucking like literally fucking building misery, and it's like the miserable parents group and going, oh, how tough is it being a parent? And if you're part of a group like that, then all of a sudden you just think everything's really, really tough. And the moment somebody says anything otherwise and says like, do you know what, you can actually do a wee bit, then there's this massive resistance to it. And I think at times you probably do need a few things out there to say, do you know what, for change to happen, there is an alternative way. Again, as Gary, I think you said, there probably is a way of framing it. I don't think social media posts, when they're as blunt as that, ever come across really well. But at the same time, I've been guilty of doing it in the past as well. Like I've had weeks in the last couple of years where like I've had like 4 people booked in for a call in a day, and every single one of them's no-showed me. And I'm like, every part of me wants to put out a post going, oh, you want change, but you can't even turn up to a call, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but then who am I actually appealing to with that? Like, you're just putting stuff out to rage bait people. And I'm like, you need to deal with the people who actually, in a large extent, want change. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100%, and I definitely think context is key as to um, where the actual message came from said coach slash coaches. If you're actively looking for an excuse to not take care of your health and you're using your children as an excuse, then that is on you. If you are trying to get, if you want to go to the gym and you're doing what you can to get to the gym, and then childcare creeps in and something happens, one of the kids gets sick, and that is stopping you from going to the gym, then I would say that's a very, very valid reason and excuse for you not to go to the gym. But if you're actively using your children to not do what you should be doing in terms of looking after your health and your fitness, then yeah, that's definitely a you problem, and you then can't get annoyed at someone for calling out that nonsense. Make sense?
Yeah. I coached someone who told me that they didn't have time for getting food made for themselves and didn't have time to whatever get any steps done, yet every single day they would spend 3.5 hours in a coffee shop, like just with the kids sitting in a coffee shop fucking gossiping all day. And I'm like, I mean, there is time there. I think it's just a case where like it's ultimately utilising that. But again, time's one thing. When you're a parent as well, there's also energy. Like, so a lot of the time, even when you do have like a 2 hour period, you're that wrecked from the amount of energy that you have expended or don't have because of broken sleep, that it's actually very difficult to like actually have the drive to go and do the thing. But I think at times that's where having a coach or having things in place that actually give you the tools to be able to take the thinking out of your hands. But like we've said it time and time again, it's a fucking topic for a different day and a topic we've covered. Like, coaching standards are not great, so like you want to make sure that you pick your coach with a bit of due diligence.
For sure. I would
And
say
that's
like,
open to learning as well because
yeah,
they don't know everything. Shocker.
we don't know everything.
Mm-mm.
We don't know everything,
Nobody
but
knows everything.
ChatGPT does, mate.
Well, that's up for debate.
I've
It can't calculate correctly.
It can't tell the difference between a before and after photo as well.
it can't tell the difference. Oh,
No, after that, I'm joking, but
oh,
I'm
no,
just
no,
referring.
no.
I'm
As a
referring.
complete side note, Gary, because you took it up, right? I'm thrown out here. I can't let this go, right? So there was a girl. That's an easy word for a Scottish person to say. There
I
was
know.
a female that
A
I
lady.
whatever. There was someone of the opposite gender, one of the two, that was on Instagram who posted a picture, and it was a before and after. And I looked at them objectively straight away without seeing anything else, and went, I'm actually struggling to see a difference. And we've all seen people like this. I'm like, I actually can't really see a difference. And then her caption was, 6 months, would you believe that the picture on the right, I'm actually heavier? And I'm like, without being insensitive to the situation, like, yeah, I could believe that you're heavier on the picture on the right because there's not fucking that much of a difference between them. There's barely a difference between them. If you held a gun to my head, I wouldn't be sure which one's before and after. Anyway, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just a me thing, so I sent it in to Gary and Shannon into the group. And to their credit, they thought the picture on the right, she did look better. However, me, ChatGPT, and the scale all think that yes, she does look heavier on the picture on the right. So objectively, me, ChatGPT, and the scales are right. But Shannon and Gary, if you ever want to feel good about your progress and you've not made any, send them a picture and they'll validate it for you.
It was all down to the lighting in that first picture. That's what I'm putting it down to. And everybody kept ignoring me when I said it's the fucking lighting. Even ChatGPT got it wrong. So, yeah.
I personally feel if you're going to put a transformation up on Instagram, and I'm here for your wins, absolutely. I don't care if it's fucking 2 kilos or 10 kilos, but there needs to be some form of objective change. And I'm like, in my opinion, that shouldn't have got as far as social media because that's someone over 6 months who, by all accounts, was trying to lose weight, put weight on, and was trying to fucking go, look at me, I have done something. And I'm going, you've not, and I don't want to be the person to tell you, you've spent 6 months doing fucking nothing. Like, not nothing in the sense of you've put the work in, but you've clearly not had a great strategy about it, and you're not measuring metrics well. Go on, Shannon.
I thought she was on a bulk. I didn't realize it was to lose weight.
This is my point.
Oh,
Maybe.
that went well over me then in the chat because I was just like, obviously, if she's putting 6 kg on, she's trying to. And I'm like, oh, she looks like she has a bit more on her.
It was just 1 kg.
It was just 1 kg.
No, it's
Oh,
one
here,
K.
where does my head do be going sometimes? I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, she has children.
He's doing it. There's Tiki Talkie over there. There it is. Wow.
we got a bit sidetracked there. What the fuck was the last thing we said before I brought up that nonsense?
I think we're doing all topics today. I think it's a lovely,
Aye,
friendly one.
it's a no
Well
holds barred.
structured.
We missed a week, so we're just fucking taking all these left turns.
I've said that on the Monday night's call, we need to be direct in terms of like answering questions that people put in. Much to Shannon's dismay, she was like, "Well, does that mean no friendship?" I was like, "Shannon, we've still got the podcast. We can have some friendship on." And now she's trying to squeeze as much friendship out it as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's just like that. What?
It's autism. I take everything literally. You said
Oh,
no friendship on the Mondays, friendship on the podcast. It is now podcast. This is friendship.
yeah. Shannon's tisms mean it's hard for her to understand Glaswegian humour slash sarcasm,
It's
and
different to mine.
the amount of times that I feel like I've offended Shannon because of having a wee joke, and she's had to like explain the situation to me, and I'm like, no, I know the situation. I'm just making a joke about the situation. Is mental.
The amount of times you put in the group chat, you say something and then underneath it going, "That was a joke, Shannon."
I fucking have to do.
I,
It was the
I,
same with Kyle when I was telling him that one of the guys in the group coaching had a bereavement and he was just like trying to be funny and say, oh, well, that shouldn't stop her from getting steps and that. And I was like, Kyle!
yeah, I think what I said was, yeah, just take our calories down by 20% or something like that. And she's like, I
And
doubt
up
she'll
her
be.
steps or
Yeah,
something.
she was like, I doubt she'll be doing that. Her granny just died, and I was like, Shannon. I was like, when did I become that heartless? Like, it's taking the piss.
Yeah, a family bereavement is no excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how good the funeral images are. She's not having any if she wants to lose weight.
Yeah, fucking log them.
Fucking log them, mate. Make sure there's protein in them as well.
Yeah, don't be going for that
What
salad one.
what would you say is other examples of the topic at hand today? So obviously, coaches that don't have children saying ha having children is no excuse. What is other examples that you have maybe come across in your coaching days?
I think coaching people for events I've never done myself has always been a rough one. So
Yeah.
when I first started, I had a woman that I was coaching for a triathlon. As much as I can research it, textbook it, know exactly what she should be doing, because I've never been through it or anything like it myself, I'll hold my hands up and say, as much as at that time I was like, I was just happy to have clients and experience and all that, being honest, probably wouldn't be the best coach for her at that point. And to further emphasise this point, being honest, it's with maturity, probably not somebody that I would take on now in terms of not having that conversation with them first and say, look, I can give you the nuts and bolts and I can walk you through it, but I haven't ever done a triathlon before. So with that, there is going to be things that might not like land, but I'm willing to go through it with you. It's like I have turned down bodybuilding clients before as well. There was a partner to actually, I'll just say it out. Chris Stapps's partner, Gabby, she does. She used to do bodybuilding, and back in 2022, she was talking about getting involved with biofitness, and she was like, "Do you take on like bodybuilding clients?" And I was like, "I'll be honest, no. I don't. I wouldn't be able to coach you to the level that like you want." And to be fair, I've never taken on as a client, but I think that's those type of examples. Yes, but that takes a lot because coaching is one of those things that, like, if somebody's there wanting help, they think you can help them and they're willing to offer you money, you're financially incentivized to do that. Like, and I think a lot of people who have steady paying jobs don't maybe understand what it's like sometimes to be a coach in terms of, like, it takes a lot for somebody to turn down and go, you know what, they're offering you a couple £100 a month and you going, no. Like, that takes a lot. Like, that's why the standard of coaching sometimes is a bit bad because people just take on clients they shouldn't be taking on.
Yeah,
Just for
I
the sake of cash.
fully agree. I would never ever dream about taking on someone that wants to enter a bodybuilding show, and that is literally because I have never experienced that type of coaching or training myself. So yeah, I think the line gets drawn when people have specific goals in mind. Even someone for a powerlifting competition, I would question my ability to be able to coach them to take part in a powerlifting competition. Now, I know that I could just message Kyle and Shannon, who have done multiple powerlifting competitions between them, and ask for a wee bit of help. But unless I've actually experienced what it's like to train and go through one myself, I don't know if I would take anyone like that on. And that is just because I know my limits. I know what I know, and I obviously there's a fucking ton that I don't know, and it just wouldn't be. I would feel guilty if that makes sense, taking that person's money, knowing that I'm not giving them the coaching that they truly deserve and need to get to where they want to be.
Here's one for you. PTs, coaches doing the likes of high rocks classes, but have never done a high rocks before and coaching them.
That's just a conditioning class, in my opinion. It's just cardio. It's not, you know what I mean? They can dress it up however they fucking want, but it's, yeah. High rock sim. What the fuck? You're just ski erg, bike erg, and run. Like, it's just a conditioning class.
I have Gary's right in a lot of ways. Fucking, I'll say this after doing multiple high roxes and trikers and stuff like that.
Strikers.
It is a fucking glorified obstacle course, but you don't need a massive amount of coaching to be able to do it, but you also need to give it respect in the sense of whether you agree with it or disagree with it. It now is one of the fastest growing sports in Europe and the world, I think, at this point, outside of paddle. But with that, you're now looking at people competing at it at the highest level. Now, what you think of those people is irrelevant, but at the same time, if you were somebody who was coming to me and go, I want to be one of the whatever top people at High Rocks or whatever, would I be equipped to be able to give them like coaching? Yes, 100% I could.
You're a pro.
I am a pro, yeah. I'd signed up to, for anybody who's listening, me and Chris Stapps signed up to Trica Pro, and when we finished the race, I think we finished 7th out of 100 or so people. That was great.
Unreal.
I know, mate, but then the worst thing was I didn't realise there were still people that could compete in the same division later in the weekend. So our score has been bumped from 7th to I think fucking 21st or something. So I didn't realise that. I wish it was like, I felt like I was the league table when fucking Aberdeen were top of it, and it's like, just end the league, mate, end the league. But the league has gone. So to be fair though, I'm taking it in terms of, could I give coaching advice? Yes. To answer the question, could I give it to the point where, like, I live and breathe High Rocks and probably understand the minutiae of training 4 or 5 days a week for High Rocks? No, that's not my jam. But at the same time, I'm also, as much as I can train people and have trained people for powerlifting competitions and stuff like that, I don't live and breathe power. I have, but I don't live and breathe powerlifting. I think I would be a fairly decent powerlifting coach. Am I the best powerlifting coach? No. Am I the best High Rocks coach? No. That's why ultimately on my Instagram it doesn't say High Rocks coach or powerlifting coach or any of the above. What I think that I'm really good at is body transformations and fat loss, which I can massively help you with. And if that's what you want to come on board with, 100%. I am, and we are the people, Gary. Shannon, that's a Rangers reference, just so you're not thinking. When I said that, Shannon probably thinks she's excluded because I said Gary's name there.
It's very fitting for the podcast because I'm actually wearing a wee Rangers cap as well. I don't know if you can see the badge.
I was just thinking of the song "We Are the People."
Don't you start singing shit.
Yeah, no, I'm not going because I'm so croaky. But if I wasn't croaky, I would.
I thought you were tapping your chest singing along to that, and then Gary's got his Rangers top on, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like,
yes,
the Proddy podcast.
We're just about to have a wee sash bash.
I am not a prod. No orange sash for me. Get away.
My unborn child's meant to be coming on the 12th of July.
Oh my days.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The minute he told me that, I was like, no, like Jen either needs to push before or hold off until the 12th of July is over.
Little
we
William.
Ain't having it.
But to be fair, listen to this, right? So my granddad's name was William O'Neill, and he died a few years ago, but like we gave Finn the middle name of William. But Finn's full name is Finn William Watson. Watson's a proddy name, William's a proddy name. I'm like, this wee guy has the most proddy name in the Republic of Ireland, Finn William Watson. I'm like...
He's got an Irish passport.
And he's going to have a brother or sister born on the 12th of July. Like, madness.
Don't worry, his Uncle Gary will get him his first Rangers top.
Fucking... To be honest, the way that Celtic are being run at the moment, I don't think Celtic are going to exist in the next couple of years. They're going to be, they're not going to be great. Like, anyway, moving back to the point that we were talking about.
I was on about High Rocks and the PTs.
Yeah. So to answer your question about classes, I don't really have any issues with people taking classes for general High Rocks because it's really not the most complex thing to do. I think it depends on your expectations of what a High Rocks is. There's High Rocks classes I've been to. Being honest, I was one at a gym in town that said it was a High Rocks class, and we started with a 5-minute ab circuit followed by some step-ups onto a bench. I really am like, what is the difference between this and a circuit class? It was full of, and no disrespect to them, 50 to 60-year-old women stepping up onto boxes, and we had to pay an extra tenner for it. I'm like, imagine you done that type of training without really knowing what High Rocks was and then turning up to High Rocks. I'm like, there wasn't a fucking stitch of running. There was barely your heart rate going up. It was just an ab circuit with a few step-ups. I'm like, that's abysmal. That's not High Rocks. That's not what high rocks the competition is, there does need to be specificity, but in terms of like specific coaching, depends on what level you want to compete at on that.
So would
Yeah,
you say that if you haven't done a high rocks before, you should be able to coach clients for the high rocks?
That is a question of all questions. I think it would be easier to. Would you be better if you had done one? Yes. However, what I would say, if you've got experience with running events, then yeah, you probably could coach it. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Remember,
more coming from the standards point of view because you know yourself at Trico, we seen some fucking weapons doing stuff, and we were like, or did people not check what they were meant to do before it? And I think that's where I get the problem with it. I'm like, if you're not making sure your clients who are probably doing your class have said, "Oh, I've signed up for a High Rocks or a Trica," aren't meeting the actual standards of what you're meant to do at it, I'm like, no, you shouldn't be teaching that then because you should be trying to help them get through that.
so I have major issues with what High Rocks Trica try to do, in the sense it's meant to be open for everyone. Essentially, what that's meant to be is, it's a version, well, technically the way I've perceived it, it's a version of CrossFit that is more open to everybody, and that's the point, and that's why it's scalable. However, they have a movement in there in terms of wall balls or thrusters, where it requires the hip crease to be below the knee as a standard that they have set. Let's bear in mind, standard. The problem with that is probably 60 to 70% of general population can't actually squat below parallel. So you put them in a competition where they can't squat below parallel, it just breeds, like, you can any given day go to High Rocks or a Trica competition and go watch the thrusters of the wall balls. I guarantee you it will take you less than 10 seconds to see someone who's not squatting to parallel, who's, and the thing is with the judges, and I feel sorry for them, they have, it's not something you can typically learn on the day. Like, you can't if you've not practiced getting down to parallel, it's not like you can just fix it on the day. So you've charged somebody 100 quid for a race, they're incentivized to allow them to finish, because otherwise they're going to have tons of complaints. But then you see fucking squats that are higher than Snoop Dogg. So it is slightly annoying, because some of the, and we also look at the other end of the spectrum, the times that people get, and it's like, oh, look at me with my sub-hour time. I'm like, but then you look at the videos of the wall balls or whatever, and you're going, because you fucking just basketball throwed it up every single time. Like, it's fucking car crash. Like, so yeah, in a lot of ways, as the most skillful part of High Rocks, the squat to depth, yes. Should you teach people to squat to depth? Yeah, but realistically, I think it's more of a High Rocks issue in the standards. If High Rocks enforced the fact that you had to go to parallel, then yeah, it's a bigger issue. But right now they're not. So, like, I would also say, like, crack on, fucking just do. There wouldn't be me, but at the same time, you could get away with just going in, and I wouldn't want to take a risk with my clients. But, like, yeah, you can crack on and
yeah,
probably get away with it.
100%. Any other examples of what you can think of?
Um, Yeah, Olympic lifting. I've been asked to coach people Olympic lifting. My background in Olympic lifting, whilst I had done a bit of it before, it was nowhere near the ability to be able to coach it. I have implemented some power cleans with people before, because I think power cleans are probably the simplest and most easy movement to use, and it helps rate of force development. But I'd even say right now, I'd struggle to actually coach somebody properly, in terms of, like, could I get somebody who's never, like, snatched before to get to, like, a full perfect snatch? No. Could I get them better at it? Yes. But would I be the person who, what would probably take somebody who is an Olympic lifting coach maybe 3 or 4 sessions to get somebody there, would probably take me 20.
Yeah. Aye, Olympic lifting is wild in that you need to put a fuck ton of time and effort and hours into actually practice and practice and practicing, and that's not something that you're going to get at an Olympic lifting class that you do once per week that lasts 40 minutes, and there's one coach trying to coach 12 people. That's something that is very niche, and you want to be finding someone that, first of all, knows what the fuck they're talking about. Excuse me, what they're talking about, and secondly, can actually demonstrate what you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, I wouldn't touch Olympic lifting with a fucking 10-foot pole if I had one.
Wouldn't touch it either. Being honest, if a client came to me and went, I want to learn Olympic lifting, I'd be like, not the person for you. And that's not to say I have probably 3 or 4 clients within my group because they've seen me doing a bit of Olympic lifting and it is getting a wee bit popular that are going, they are doing a wee bit and can you help give us pointers and stuff? 100%. I'm like, I'm probably a couple of steps ahead of them so I can give a couple of steps to help bridge the gap. But in terms of like, if they were like, I want to go out and like compete in Olympic lifting, I'm like, oh, not me, mate, not me. I don't. I am not the guy.
I'm
Thank
most
you.
definitely not the girl. I've only had baby classes so far.
I think kind of what we're getting at here is there is standards that coaches should uphold when it comes to niche things like Olympic lifting, etc. For the likes of a high rocks or another endurance event. Um, you can be a little bit more flexible if you've got a good understanding of endurance events. If you've done a half marathon, you should be okay being able to coach someone for the likes of a high rocks. You just need to add in a little bit more skill with the sled push, the wall balls, etc. But when it's something very, very niche that the coach hasn't done themselves or isn't very good at, then I don't think they should be advertising it or coaching it. Yeah.
The only thing I would add to that, and I think it's careful not to get too caught up in this, just because you're a better athlete or a better at something doesn't necessarily also mean you're better at coaching this. And what I mean by that is I have had clients before who are stronger than me. I've had clients who I have coached to get in better shape than I have been. I've had clients I've had to run faster than I have. Like, I think you need to be able to demonstrate that you can do the thing, but just because I can't run a sub 40-minute 10K doesn't mean I don't have the potential to coach somebody to get that. Like, I can coach somebody to get faster because I've demonstrated I can get faster. But I think sometimes what's often get misconstrued, and a lot of coaches feel like this, is like, oh, there's so much pressure on me to be the best. I'm like, just because you're the best athlete doesn't mean that you're the best coach. If anything, those two things don't often gel together. Like, you can really be one or the other. Just because Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi are the best footballers doesn't mean that they're going to be the best coach. However, somebody who is the best coach has likely played the game because they understand the game. You don't need to have played it and won Ballon d'Ors to be the best coach, but you do need to ultimately have played the game to a point. There's very few exceptions, but if we do take it into another realm, you look at the likes of Jose Mourinho, who never played football, who's one of the best coaches of all time, which does show you that you can do the thing without ever having done the thing, but that's the exception, not the norm. And I think that goes for everything. More often than not, you need to have walked the walk to a level to be able to get someone else to that point.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, a master of none.
Hold on. Yeah, you carry on. I'm going to actually come back to that though. I just want to Google something.
Oh,
Kyle, remember when you coached me for a Spartan Beast and you hadn't ever done one in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, give my money back.
Yeah, mate. Oh, you stick it on your invoice. No worries.
But that just shows how much of an understanding you have when it comes to endurance events. For anybody that doesn't know what a Spartan Beast is, it used to be arguably better than what it is now. I think now it's just all about fucking making money now.
it's like a hell and back now as such.
It's basically like a Tough Mudder but on steroids.
Yeah.
A Spartan Beast is a half marathon, but it's on some sort of hilly resort. So the first one that I done was in a mountain range in Scotland called the Pentland Hills. The second one I done in Canada was literally on a ski resort. So you can imagine how fucking steep these hills were. You're up and down the hills, thrown into that half marathon. There is at least 30 obstacles that is all like kind of monkey bars that rotate. You have to climb up a fucking what was it, a 15-foot rope to ding a cowbell at the top and then come back. So it was all mad shit. It was basically, I think Joe DeSena is the guy's name that created it. He said that he created it with the intention of like breaking your body so you don't finish. Like he wanted people to not finish. And the people that did finish were like elite essentially. So you can imagine how intense it is. And yeah, I just for some fucking reason I decided to do two of them. But Kyle coached me through that and never done one in his life. Probably never hung for rotating monkey bars before in his life. But the fact that it was more of an endurance event rather than a strength event, Kyle had enough knowledge and understanding of what it took to actually prepare my body to get through it. And that's just kind of that's putting into perspective where I'm coming from when I say if you've done an endurance event before, then you have a very, very good understanding as to what most endurance events entail. You have a very good understanding of what's going to be required to get you through said event. Like you mentioned with the triathlon, Kyle, I've got client shout out Stephanie who's training for an aqua bike at the minute, which is an open water swim and then a cycle. I've never done one of them in my fucking life, but I have a good understanding of where she needs her fitness to be to get through the event. Kyle's helping me with that. I have no shame in holding my hands up and saying I did ask for a wee bit of help. Stephanie knows that. But it's, yeah, because it's not niched down to a specific thing, then yeah, I appreciate your help for getting me through that, Kyle. It was mental, but it was fucking good.
For what it's worth, mate, I have actually hung from rotating monkey bars before. But
Oh, mate, they're the most mental thing in the world, man. Uh, so nuts. If anybody, excuse me, if anybody wants to know what the event was like when we were in Canada, both me and Rach done it together. I made a YouTube video of every single obstacle that we had. So if you want to see that video, get in touch with me and I'll send you the link. Yeah, Shannon.
Please tell me there was a GoPro on your head, like your man that does the
Uh,
trains.
yeah, I had one on my head, and Rachel had one on. She had the one on her chest.
I feel a new experiment that I want to do is attach a GoPro to Shannon and just a day in the life of Shannon.
It
Get
would
one
be
of those,
very
yeah.
boring.
Get one of those ones that the guy with the trains wears, the 360 one, so you can see
Yeah,
Shannon's elongated facial expressions.
I love him.
Yeah, I'd say there's a level of understanding between you both.
Yeah,
It's the tism in it.
it
It's
is. And then we went to trike on the train, and I was fucking buzzing last Friday. I was like, I fucking love going on the train.
yeah, there's no need for an actual autism test for Shannon. That's
No, I wonder
anyway.
why they keep pushing me to go get this test. Why would I spend 2 grand getting this test when I clearly tick all the boxes?
The speaking of ticking all the boxes, do you know the full set
Quote.
quote for a jack of all trades, master of none?
That's all I know.
So the thing that's often left out from the end of it is actually it's a jack of all trades, is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So
Oh,
that's a full quote. People just fucking cut it in half, but that's a full quote. I'm like, you know what? That is what we are to a large extent.
100%. 100%.
In all aspects of life.
There you go.
Yeah, I
So,
bring the neurodiverse. I teach you every single day about different things.
and it's easy for us not to argue with Shannon and just say, yes, you do.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have a question for you. This is really random, but I seen this and I need to know if this is a legit thing or not. It's going to be a little weird. It is. I'm
Go for
going
it.
to throw it out there. You know me, and I just drop random things, and it's like no context. So there is a weirdness to this question. What way do you go into a shower? Do you face a shower or do you turn your back to a shower?
Like,
Like if you're
what?
turning on the shower and you're about to go, like, I don't know, wash your hair and stuff, are you facing the shower as in like facing the water, or do you have your back to it?
Right.
Depends what the show was like.
I'm going to go through my viewpoint here. I face the shower because I want to know where the water is at all times, and I have trust issues of turning my back, especially when I'm naked somewhere. So the only time, and I was about to say the only time I've seen anybody back to the shower, but then again, I don't watch people in the shower, so of course it's probably the only time I've seen it was Will Smith in the film I Am Legend. He's in the shower and he's like got his back facing to it, but at the same time, I don't watch people in the shower now I think about it, so I don't actually know how people get in the shower and stuff. Maybe
And
it's
then when you watch Rocky, a film that you absolutely love, Kyle, he is facing into the shower with his head against the wall.
I'll be honest that my routine is usually I sit down and cry in the shower.
You like a sit down in the shower.
I've never,
I
never.
don't like a sit down in the shower because by the time the water gets to you, it's a bit colder.
Uh, but you don't have the big shower problems. See, when you have the big shower problems, a sit down's required in the middle of that.
Right,
There's a
so I'm
fucking
gonna
effort in that now. So a sit down is what you need at one point. You can
I'm
Controversial.
gonna
still
answer.
continue the big
Sorry,
shower, but
when you
you
go.
need to be sitting at some point. It's a lot.
I want to spend the least amount of time. It's like fucking brushing my teeth. I fucking despise having to do these things. I have to do them, but like I don't have any enjoyment for the shower or brushing my teeth, anything like that. So I will do it for the minimum recommended amount of time, but I am not spending any more time in there than I have to. A bath's a different story, but like in terms, that's a special occasion. But when it comes to like showers, no, I'm in and out as quickly and as efficiently as I can. Wash all the essentials and then fuck off.
Dust
Yeah,
off
so
the
you don't
cobwebs
have to
and
be
you're away.
shaving bits and bobs and all that jazz and exfoliating, and there's a lot. But Gary, what are we saying? Are you going to face the shower like Rocky, or do you turn your back like Will Smith?
I go into the shower facing it, and
Yeah.
then during it, I turn round and then I'll turn back round. So I don't face one way. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to showering.
I mean, to be fair, that's a fair point. If you are going to wash yourself appropriately, I feel like it's a trick question. You have to manoeuvre your body. So, like my standard position would be facing it for the majority of the 3 minute shower I go for. But at the same time, like you are going to have to like back up if you're wanting to get sack back crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm doing my
So
hair, I'll turn my back to it and go that way.
I mean, there's an argument to say optimal position is on your side. I mean, if you're on your side, technically, with the water coming down, you've got the kind of all angles, you can technically manoeuvre that. If you had to choose a position that was optimal, I'm just saying, from a scientific point of view, technically being on your side is most optimal. See, when we put
Uh,
this podcast out, right, the name is the optimal position for showering. That's all we do.
that's it. Well, I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking this, because I've come across this fact and I'm a little bit like torn on it, because I would be a little bit like you, Gary, but I'd say 80% of it is with my back
Nah,
to the shower, right?
nah.
Apparently that's very common for neurodiverse people. They face backwards into the shower where most neurotypical people would face forward.
I fucking shit myself there. Oh
So
my
did
god.
I.
Oh my god, I jumped so
That,
much. I've got your phones in and my full body just tensed up so hard.
Michael's here trying to climb up the bed now beside me.
that was so loud that I didn't even need a microphone for Gary to have heard that in Scotland. That was
Oh,
ranting.
that was louder when you had the microphone right to your mouth earlier, Kyle. Holy shit, man, I get such a fright.
Apologies to all of our remaining listeners.
Oh my god, eardrums just fucking gone.
It's trigger warning on this podcast. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add now that we've ended it on shower talk. Does anybody else?
Yeah. No,
I just thought that was a really interesting fact, and I thought I would share it with you.
just quickly then before we wrap up, if you want to introduce the podcast, please reach out. We'll get you sending us a wee voice note and I'll make it happen. And if you want to see my Spartan Beast YouTube video, get in touch with me and I will send you the link.
That almost sounded quite dirty. If you want to see my Spartan beast,
If you want to see which way Gary goes in the shower, there's a separate link for that as well.
Yeah.
It costs a bit
So-
of dollar bills.
Subscribe to my OF.
oh,
Oh,
oh, right. Thanks, Dave and Toby. I just combined the names. It was like fucking Super Saiyan fusion there. Thanks, Dave and Toby, for the tunes, and we'll see you next week.